Hi everyone, today on Simply Maha we're going to be making this chocolate banana loaf with walnuts and a tahini swirl on top. This is another recipe of really getting creative with your cake mix and turning it into something fun. So let's get started. So you're going to need 1 box of chocolate cake mix. You're going to need about 1/4 cup of walnuts and really ripe bananas, okay? When I say ripe, I mean they gotta be looking like this. Damn! All right, that is how your bananas should be when you are baking with them. They are liquid gold because they're just so sweet and they're going to make any cake you put in it very moist. They almost resemble applesauce in this state, and as you can see, all you have to do is just squeeze them out of the peel. Now, since the cake mix is already made to be moist, it has a good amount of oil and water. We don't want to put more than 3 bananas because we don't want the cake falling apart. And now we're just going to add our eggs, our oil. I didn't have any canola oil, so I just used olive oil, but use canola oil if you have. And instead of water, anytime you want to bring the chocolate flavor out and make it even more chocolatey, use 1 tablespoon of instant coffee in your water, or just put coffee instead of water. But I didn't do that today, but you want to do that when you're making anything chocolate, or just maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon. So we're just going to add our water right now and keep on mixing. What I'm doing right now is just sort of puncturing the egg yolk so that I could mix easier. So now I've just added the contents that have been in the cake mix along with 1/4 cup of walnuts. You can add any type of nut in this. You can add chocolate chips. You can add coconuts and orange zest and make it like a tropical banana bread. So really be creative when, with this. Any type of store-bought base like a cake mix or a pie crust or anything really gives you the room and the time to get more creative with your dessert. So I always like to add, a little something to my cake mix. And in today's video, this just happens to be it. So mix that along with the bananas. You can see that I haven't mashed the bananas all the way because I like them to be more chunky in my cake batter. So now I'm just spraying my loaf pan with some non-cooking spray. One thing that I would change in this recipe is baking it into a larger pan, maybe an 8x4 brownie pan or a springform pan, because it really took over an hour and 15 minutes to get this cake to be set. And I felt like that was just too long of a cooking time for this cake, and it didn't come out as moist as I wanted it to be. So next time I would either bake this like I said in a brownie pan, or even a 9x15 rectangle pan, or you can make this into cupcakes. But really avoid making this into a loaf pan because the batter is very liquidy. It's not as thick as traditional banana bread, so it took way longer, therefore drying it out just a little bit more. But next time you can just use a larger pan. So now what I did is swirl in about 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of tahini paste. I really did this just for the design and the color. It did give it a nice nuttiness, but if you want that design, you can use sweetened condensed milk if you don't have the tahini. And it's not going to be overpowering because we're only using about 2 tablespoons. So I'm now just putting it in the oven at 350, and like I said, this took about an hour and 30 minutes. So I took it out and let it cool completely. It was still a bit warm, but cool enough to handle. And now we're just going to slice it up. You could see how clean that loaf pan was because of that cooking spray that we used. And now I'm just going to slice it up. Now, what you can do with this is just freeze it. And then you can take it out when you want to make banana bread, and you can use this loaf as the bread slices, or you can smear it with some butter, toast it up, have it for breakfast, or make it into French toast. I only eat maybe 1 or 2 slices as cake, and then the rest I recycle into other recipes. And you can see that banana chunk in there. That really adds a nice flavor when it's there as a whole banana piece instead of it being mashed. Here is a close-up of it. You can see the tahini swirl in there, the walnuts, the banana, very nice texture going around. So here is the recipe. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time on Simply Maha where we are simple but never basic.